Point of order, John McDonnell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I wish to raise a point of order. You may be aware that the Honourable Member for Islington North and I were called for interview by the Metropolitan Police following our participation in a demonstration in January calling for peace and justice for the Palestinian people and an end to the genocide in Gaza. It was alleged that we failed to follow police restrictions on the protest. This is untrue, and at all times we followed police instructions. We can now report that the police have dropped the case against us and there will be no charges. The reason for this point of order is that in the correspondence to our solicitor, Martin Howe, the Metropolitan Police informed us that our case was referred to the Crown Prosecution Service because as MPs we were to be held to have, and I quote, a greater culpability. This is an unacceptable practice that flies in the face of the principle that we are all equal before the law. I wish to place on record my concern about this behaviour by the Metropolitan Police.
I am grateful to the Right Honourable Member for giving notice of his point of order. It is not a matter for the Chair, but he has put his point on the record. Can I suggest that he takes the matter up with the clerks, who will be able to advise him how to pursue this matter further?
Point of order.
Point of order, Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Further to the point of order raised by my friend, the member for Hayes and Harlington, I wish to also place on record my thanks to our solicitor, Martin Howe, and many others that worked very hard on this case, because the implications are obviously very, very serious. If there are elements in the police and possibly in the Crown Prosecution Service who want members of Parliament to be held to a different standard of account than the general public, that removes us from the normality of law in this country. And I think that would be a very, very bad step indeed. And I will take your advice, of course, and follow the advice that you've just given to take this up with the clerks, because us being held to a different standard would be a very bad thing. We have to all of us, have the right to take part in public protests about human rights abuse, about war, about peace, about anything else. That is what democracy is about. And I saw this whole effort as being a means to try and silence the democratic rights of everybody in our society by picking on us two as members of Parliament. And I'm grateful for the decision that's been made today, but like the member for Hayes and Harlington, I don't intend to let it rest just there.
I'm grateful to the Right Honourable Member for giving notice of his point of order, and as he knows, it is not a matter for the Chair, but he has put his point on the record. Point of order, Sir Edward Leigh.
I think it might be useful if a Member of Parliament who's not often taken part in demos in central London to intervene at this point, just to show that opinion in this House of Commons is absolutely united. In various parliaments, indeed in most parliaments in Europe, MPs have immunity from prosecution. We've never had that system here, and we've always proclaimed what is very much the British way, that members of Parliament are no different from any other member of the public. If they do wrong, they will be held to account, but they should not be subject to some greater test of culpability just because they're members of Parliament. So I just wanted to rise as somebody who's not in the same party as the honourable gentleman and often has rather different views, just to show that what he's just said here has universal support in this House.
I thank the Honourable Member for his point, the Right Honourable Member for his point of order. And whilst it is not a matter for the Chair, he's put his point on the record and he's been heard by the House.